Hi, my name is Susan Dodge and I'm the director of ArcWorks, 22 Foster Street in Peabody. Today we're having an opening of the Abstracted View, which is a show here in our galleries. The juror was Dean Nimmer, who is emeritus, a professor at Mass College of Art. There was a wide variety of work today, and it's not necessarily just abstract work, but the title is to be interpreted. We had over 50 artists enter, and there are 40 pieces in the show. Former professor of mine from Mass College of Art, and I was really thrilled he had agreed to come and jury the show. It was great to spend the time with him, and he wanted me to share with you some thoughts about how he juried shows. So I made a little video and then I transcribed it here, and I just want to read it for you. He said, "Anytime I've been involved in jurying a show, my tendency and my taste is more about how much is using their imagination and even ideally their passion to paint and make art. Things that seem very stereotypical or things that are not in line with the theme of the show tend to not be as interesting to me." He said, "I also want to make the distinction that there is a distinction between what is, and in this case, engaging my interest. It's not good or bad. Someone who is in the show or not in the show, it's not a value judgment of whether the work is good or whether the work is bad. It is work that interests me and I think is engaged in the theme of the show." He said, one of the things about realism and abstraction, he said, he's written 2 books and he's referencing it. There's a chapter in my book called The Odd Bedfellows, Realism and Abstraction. He said, where does one start and where does one leave off? You can't measure that. He said he wanted to invent a Geiger counter where he could hold it up to a painting and it would tick, 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 and then go away, tick, tick, whether it's realism or abstraction. He said, everything you make is an interpretation, and the degree to which someone is engaged in the process of interpreting something and at the same time using their imagination. He said that activity is something that interests me, and when it surfaces in the work in a powerful way, that is work that is potent to me. He said, again, I want to say that I'm very impressed with the work in the show, and judging first, second, and third really gets into my personal taste. He said, as you know, I've been a teacher for way too long, and at Mass Art departments we're debating 40 years ago whether to give grades of A, B, or C rather than honors or pass. And in the painting department, that was the antithesis, because in my opinion, there is no such thing as an A painting. Is it a first place, second place, third place? Is anything I would like to achieve with this show is encouragement, is to engage your imagination and forget about what is popular, forget about what people like, forget about subject matter that attracts the most attention. He said, just make art. And the only thing you can do wrong in art is not to make art. And he wanted to say and give everyone in the show an honorable mention, because being in the show was, honorable mention, but I didn't do that. But anyway, I want to thank you. This is Chuck Guest, who is the first place winner.
Hi, I'm Chuck Guest, and I started painting about 6 years ago. I live in Vermont, but I have a house in Beachmont, and we're down there half the time, and we're in Vermont half the time. I enjoy spending a lot of time around the water. I've always loved the water, and after I started painting, the water just kind of came out in my painting. So the inspiration for this painting was I wanted it to feel like that there was some turbulence, but then also that there was some calm in it. So that's why I call it After the Storm. The medium is acrylic, and actually in that particular one, my son-in-law gave me some paint for the deck which has sand in it, and I mix that with the other paint that I use, and that's why if you look at it you can see the texture in there. It's a reclaimed paint, most of it that was used on that painting.